Now, to look at the economic impact of another term for Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is Hikaru Yamagishi from Yale University. Our thanks to you for coming in.
Hi, thanks so much.
So Abe has been Prime Minister now since 2012, and if he serves out the rest of this term, he'll be the longest-serving leader of Japan in history. What does that mean for the Japanese economy?
So to set the scene of when this victory for Abe is coming, Japan had come out of political turmoil. The LDP, which is the Liberal Democratic Party, the Prime Minister's party, had a series of prime ministers who had scandals, corruption, and they had come in and come out within less than a year terms consecutively. So it was a revolving door. The opposition came in, there were natural disasters, and they were booted out of government again. And this is the first time since really Prime Minister Koizumi that Abe was able to stabilize the Japanese government and provide some sort of stability for these past 6 years.
So when you talk about the stability, I mean, if he's providing stability, that's good for the economy, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the economy, Abe has been remarkable, to say the least.
Does he get the credit from voters in that respect?
Voters have in polls shown that they give a lot of confidence to Abe's ability. I think the number one thing that is hard to understand until you take a step back is that the bubble burst in 1989 in Japan, and after more than 2 decades afterwards was recession. The economy, all you saw in the news was layoffs and people losing their pensions and really just struggle economically from the very bottom to the top of the Japanese income ladder. And Abe comes in, announces what is now called Abenomics, his 3-pronged approach to economic stimulus. And the Nikkei, the Japanese equities index, has rallied continuously since when he came into office. It started a little before then, but his announcement gave it a boost. And second quarter, just this year, was the second highest growth in Japan that's seen, a period of growth again. So economic growth is continuing. And on the debt side, Japanese government bonds, for instance, have rallied. There was a little blip in 2015, but it's been really strong the whole time. And unemployment also has gone from around 3.5% to 2.5%, which is the lowest in decades.
So then he's got another 4 years if there's not a snap election called with this term. What are the expectations for him over that period of time?
Yeah, so one of the most contentious issues and something that the Prime Minister Abe has put forth as one of the things that is on the top of his agenda is constitutional revision. He intends to push through his party's plan, especially pertaining to Article 9.
This is the military part of the Constitution?
Yes, this is the military.
And so, how is that going to affect the economic boom with respect to spending and taking on of debt?
So it's right now, the Japanese Constitution limits government spending on military. This is highly contested in Japan still. So what has to happen for this to pass is that the bill has to get a 2/3 supermajority in both chambers of the National Diet in Japan. And it also has to go to a national referendum, and they have to get a majority of the public to agree to this. Polls have been showing that voters are very favorable towards Abe's economic policy, but their opinion, including those who support the LDP's coalition partner, are very tepid and very divided on the issue of constitutional revision. So it's not an easy road to go through.
Can I just quickly get your thoughts on the future of sort of these multilateral trade engagements, Japan part of the CPTPP, and also RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership that's potentially going to be signed very soon in November in Singapore. Are these also tools that Abe can use in terms of expanding the economic possibilities?
It's certainly something that he and his allies have proposed as one of the strongest tools that he has. One of the ways that Abe has kind of distinguished himself and put himself in the spotlight in both domestically and internationally has been his kind of Western style of communication, very straightforward way of communicating with the masses, in opposition, kind of in contrast to a more measured approach by some other politicians that had preceded him. So he and his allies, going back to trade, has really emphasized his personal and professional relationship with leaders around the world, including President Trump. And so he has really fashioned himself as a leader that can really have a strong hold at the helm of the Japanese economy, negotiate at the table, go make stronger allies, and really deal with the quickly shifting and what the Japanese feel is a kind of murky geopolitical landscape that could result from recent events.
Well, important days ahead for Japan.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Hikaru Yamagishi from Yale University. We appreciate your time.